Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 4th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the next week, we will continue to see much drier conditions and windy conditions spread across the Great Basin from west to east, with the strongest winds being Tuesday and Wednesday, especially over the northern half of Nevada into Utah. This area, highlighted in brown, is an area where we have some high risk for gusty winds and low humidity over the next couple of days. Again, in this area is where we've seen either spotty precipitation or much less rainfall than we've seen in areas further south and east. Winds will be increasing and quite strong at times across the rest of Utah as we move towards Tuesday and Wednesday, but southern and eastern Utah have seen a lot more rainfall recently with thunderstorms. If we look at the conditions over the last 24 hours, we've seen scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly over the southern and eastern half of Utah, tailing back into eastern Nevada, and then some activity up north across Idaho. The image on the left shows the reported precipitation. Most areas saw some rainfall, with the heavier areas over southern Utah seeing rainfall between a third and a half inch in some locations. We've seen quite a bit of fire activity around the Great Basin. However, most of these fires have remained small. We have a couple fires in Idaho and Utah that are in the hundreds of acres, but the largest fire is across north central Nevada. It's the Hot Pot Fire, last reported at 120,000 acres. Looking at the precipitation now over the last 1 to 4 weeks, in the last 7 days, the image on the left shows the percent of normal precipitation, and we can see well above normal precipitation over the southern half of the Great Basin recently with the showers and thunderstorms, and conditions get much drier as you move further north. Looking at the image on the right, this shows percent of normal precipitation for the last 30 days, again showing that above normal precipitation in southern areas and well below normal precipitation further north, with an area over western and northern Nevada that has not seen any rainfall at all in the last 30 days or more. Looking at how these conditions have affected ERCs, we've seen a significant decline in ERCs over the southern half of the Great Basin with those showers and thunderstorms, and areas further north and west have not seen much of a change due to the much drier conditions, but ERCs are generally between the 50th and 70th percentile up north. If we look at live fuel conditions, which were last sampled about a week or so ago, we have seen a significant decrease in live fuel moisture, especially over the western and northern side of the Great Basin that has not seen much rainfall, with some areas seeing live fuel moisture near historical minimums. The water vapor satellite loop from this morning shows high pressure still over the southwest. However, the biggest feature of note is this area of low pressure over southwest Canada, which will continue pushing a front through the northern areas of the Great Basin, and this is what is responsible for increasing winds this week, along with cooling temperatures, especially over the northern two-thirds of the area. Also, much drier conditions out ahead of this front have spread into Nevada and Idaho, and will continue spreading eastward as we move through the middle of this week. Now looking at significant fire potential for today, we've seen a significant decrease in fire potential over parts of southeastern Utah. However, still low to moderate fire potential over the rest of northern Nevada and to southern Idaho as these areas have remained drier. Also, winds will begin increasing later this afternoon along the Sierra front. Therefore, we do have a high risk for winds and low relative humidity, especially on the holiday today. However, as we move through this week, those winds will spread eastward across the Great Basin. Today, relative humidity will remain in the single digits to low teens across Nevada and to western Utah, again with those winds increasing across the area, with the strongest winds potentially over parts of southeast Idaho. However, these areas have seen some recent rainfall, and also humidities will be slightly higher. Along the Sierra front, wind gusts will be around 30 miles per hour with low relative humidity, and again with the holiday activities, we could see an increase in fire potential today. Looking at Tuesday, this low over southwest Canada starts to push a little bit further south and east. Therefore, winds will be increasing across the northern half of the Great Basin, and we will see that high risk for winds and low relative humidity over the northern half of Nevada, especially in areas that have seen recent lightning and higher grass crop, or that we already have a significantly large fire. Looking at the conditions on Tuesday, we will see those low relative humidities across Nevada and Utah, and relative humidity increase a little bit across Idaho as that area of low pressure moves through and temperatures decrease. Temperatures will remain this week near normal across the Great Basin. Looking at the wind gusts on Tuesday, winds will be increasing over western and northern Nevada with gusts between 30 and 35 miles per hour, and will also start increasing across the southern half of Utah, again with winds right around 30 miles per hour, and still some gusty winds over southeast Idaho. Looking at Wednesday, this trough is now moving through the Great Basin. We may see a return of showers over parts of the central Utah mountains, after the only other precip we'll see this week will likely be today over the eastern half of Utah. And again, we may see temperatures drop to below normal across central Idaho. Winds ahead of the front, however, will be increased, especially across eastern Nevada into Utah on Wednesday. And again, those high risk symbols correspond to where the winds will be breezy with low relative humidity and also in areas that fuels are most critical. Looking at the conditions on Wednesday, you can see the higher relative humidity now moving into parts of northeast Nevada and Idaho, however, still remaining in the single digits to low teens over the rest of Nevada and Utah, with again those gusty winds. On Wednesday, winds will likely be the strongest across southern Utah into Wyoming and still breezy along the Sierra front. If we look at the overall amount of precipitation over the next 3 days, this precipitation over Wyoming and eastern Utah will mainly fall today with showers and thunderstorms. However, over the central Idaho mountains, we'll see precipitation increase by the middle of the week. As we move later in the week on Thursday, this first area of low pressure moves off to the east, with brief high pressure ridging across the Great Basin with a decrease in winds. Therefore, low to moderate fire potential is expected, and you can see in areas of Utah, after a couple days of drying, we're seeing fire potential return to that low to moderate category. On Friday, we have another area of low pressure that drops into the northwest, and this low is stronger than the one we'll see early this week. Therefore, we expect winds to be a little stronger as we get into later this week and this weekend. Also, dry conditions will likely remain across the Great Basin, with the exception of parts of Idaho where moisture will start to increase ahead of this area of low pressure, so we may see more shower activity. As we move into the weekend and this area of low pressure moves across, again, winds will be increasing, but temperatures will also be decreasing, with many areas seeing below normal temperatures, especially across the northern two-thirds of the Great Basin. These areas of low pressure that continue to move across the northern portion of the area will also keep the monsoon moisture well to the south. Therefore, areas that typically see showers and thunderstorms this time of year with the monsoon will see much drier and windy conditions, although temperatures will be somewhat cooler. This pattern continues into the end of the weekend. And again, many areas will return to low to moderate fire potential with both the increase in winds and the drying period that we'll see through most of this week. Looking at the overall amount of precipitation, and again with that drier weather, many areas of Nevada and Utah will not see much rainfall. However, up across the central Idaho mountains into parts of Wyoming, closer to that area of low pressure, we'll continue to see chances for showers and thunderstorms. As we have troughs continue to move across the northern tier of the country, towards the middle of July, we'll expect below normal temperatures, but also much drier conditions across the Great Basin. Again, below normal temperatures with the troughs that move through, and the below normal precipitation that keeps the moisture to the south. Also, as troughs move through, also expect windier conditions than we would typically see this time of year. That concludes our briefing for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.